Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, AutotopiaLA. We got a super unique one today. This is Jeff from North American Electric Vehicle. That's right, relax. Don't freak out right now that we're shooting an EV. You know, I told you it's only the second EV that we've shot, the Cobra being one of them. At first my thought was when I was contacted was, well, no, it's not what we do. But then when I saw pictures of it, just being honest with you, dude, it's cool. It looks like a badass H1, you know? This is what your company's doing, obviously, is converting. Is it all H1s that you're doing currently?
Yeah, currently all H1s. And
do you have plans to convert other vehicles or?
So I think what we're gonna do is start working on sort of a more generic skateboard. So if you had a 72 Vet, then we'll ship you a skateboard. It runs, it's got everything on it. Just paint your body and drop it on.
Wow.
69 Chevy trucks.
Yeah.
68 Camaros.
Gotcha.
Obviously the Hummer.
Have you ever been a combustion motor guy, or have you, or is this?
Yeah. I've got a Jeep YJ with a 400 Chevy. It's great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really just kind of like what's cool, what does what.
Well, and I think it's time, and I'm talking to a lot of our audience when I say this, but because I'm a combustion motor guy, like I love nothing cooler to me than an NA big block. I dig that, you know? But it's also, if we don't embrace evolution, we become dinosaurs, right? And as a guy that's 59 years old, I don't want to become a dinosaur, at least not yet. You know, give me a minute here. So let's dig in on this then. What, other than the EV conversions, is it still stock H1? Like what?
It's very little left. Like, so the only things left really is like the tub and the frame rails. That's it. There's nothing else. This is an original hood, but the new trucks are reproduction because we saved like 100 pounds on the reproduction hoods.
Suspension still?
No, it's mostly Tesla, and then we're using QA1 racing shocks. Super light, 4,100 pounds.
And how much?
4,100.
I mean, what's a stock one way, dude? They gotta be 6,000 pounds close to it.
Yeah, so they're about 5,800 pounds, you know, without the enclosure. And then the H1s from GM, the wagons, were like almost 8,000 pounds.
God, you shed a ton of weight, man.
Ton of weight, yeah.
And then the Tesla stuff obviously has proven itself, especially like suspension. So is brakes Tesla as well?
All brakes.
Really?
Yeah.
So the transverse axle,
it's all gone. So it kind of looks like a Ford Raptor.
Yeah.
And so this is our QA1 shock and coil over, fully adjustable.
Yeah.
That's our coupler that we make custom to couple to the Tesla.
But the A-arms, that's Tesla?
It's all Tesla.
Really?
They had it, right? Like it's there. These cars are getting wrecked and these parts exist.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, from a sustainability perspective, why are we buying new? Let's use it.
Yeah. Obviously, you're not worried about charging. You can just turn your lights on. You got a full charge on here.
Yeah.
What's an average range you're gonna get on it?
It depends how fast you go, and like it's hard to really pin down. Like if you live on a mountain, it eats it. So
or if you're on an open road. So this thing has full regen, obviously.
Yeah, you're regenning at like 30 kilowatts.
So if you're sitting in traffic, it's like any EV then. If you're sitting in traffic, you're probably gonna get more mileage than you are.
Totally.
Yeah.
Under 40 miles an hour, it's great. You're using a little bit more than a Tesla, but not too much more.
Got it.
So this is what they call the penthouse. So this has all the Tesla controls in it, DC-DC, BMS. And the hard part is like repackaging the batteries. Tesla's super wide. So what we do is we take the two side modules and we stack them on the middle modules. And they fit inside the tunnel here in the Hummer. And then this whole thing gets relocated, obviously, to the front.
So creative, man. It's an interesting one for me, to be honest with you, Jeff, in that you know what I mean? You're so married to a certain world. I want to not like this is the truth. You know what I'm saying though? I mean, I like it's like I feel like I'm cheating on hot rods right now.
Yeah. But isn't this like the second golden age of hot rodding?
It is, dude. When we shot that Cobra, my friend Doug said Carroll Shelby was a hot rodder. So if he could make more power, more torque, he'd probably be interested, you know? So, and you can never deny the torque and power that these make.
Totally.
So now, do you still have like all the Tesla stability, traction, all that stuff?
The new stuff we're building does have it all. This one is from 2013 Model S.
Okay.
So the controllers for this are a little limited, but it does pretty good. I mean, the Motor Trend guy took it up this huge hill yesterday, and I was terrified. There was a Jeep that rolled off on its roof probably like a month ago or something.
Now you said power-wise, you're building ones that are even up to 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
This isn't though. This is a milder power.
Yeah, 350. It's just drivable.
Yeah.
At that speed. When you start getting up, you know, to 600 plus horsepower, especially if it's in rear-wheel drive, like you're just burning tires.
Yeah.
So, and this is Tesla. So like we didn't really have to like reinvent anything. It's a silent electric Bosch braking system. So
It's the modern day of hot rodding. It's taking things that are available and figuring out how to make it work. That's what hot rodding always has been, man. It really has, you know.
you want to go fast, you go fast.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't deny any of you guys that have ever tried out any EVs at all, even a low-powered one. All the torque is available right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to build up to it.
Yeah.
It's right here, right now. And any of us that are geeks for muscle cars, usually it's the torque that we love so much.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Really clean though. I love the way you guys did this thing.
It's all bedliner.
It is bedline.
Yeah, so like if you get your bedliner in a HPLV with like a 1.8 tip, it sprays real nice. And it's
Look,
super
Kyle's
easy.
over here. Did you see that? He even had to feel her up.
And it's super easy to clean, like just, you know,
Sure.
water was cleaner in a rag in just 10 minutes, that's it.
And otherwise, all stock. What about wheel tire sizes? That's different than original, no?
No, they ran 37s. This is a 20-inch rim. Originally it was a 16.5. But
That's what it is. It's the bigger wheel, but so you still have the same diameter overall with the tire on.
yeah, we could probably fit 40s in this truck. We did one with 40s, no problem.
I would usually ask, like, where's your exhaust come out? But I don't think we're gonna worry. Are these utility, and then where do you plug in at?
These toolboxes just kind of came about because it's just wasted space. This one's for beer, obviously. It's got water. This one's for, you know, all your charge adapters.
And then where do you plug in at?
So you charge to the front.
Oh shit.
So you just pull straight in and charge. So super easy.
Gotta say, really smart to put it on the front so you
Yeah.
can just pull straight up and
Right?
charge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's pop in this interior now. I'm curious about this one.
Yes, I mean, people kept calling us up saying they had a bunch of kids and they wanted 6-passenger. You know, a couple of grinding discs later and
Sure.
we took the hump out.
Dude, but it's a cool use of the space given that trans tunnel that goes through here is so massive. You had to have this space, you know?
Yeah.
This is the best vehicle in the world too. If you were like not getting along with your wife or girlfriend that day, sit over there. Is this just a generic screen that you use to display all of your?
It's Android, so it's open source. And at the end of the day, you know, like the Tesla stuff, it's all being driven by CAN bus messages. All we're kind of doing is piggybacking off the Tesla system.
Are you a tech guy by trade?
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for electrical engineering, but you know, like doing, you know, the hobby car stuff is kind of what brought the two together.
It's really cool in here. I love the seating in here. And is there a purpose to the Plaid?
I don't know, just thought it was cool.
Can you tell me what all the different switches do here?
Yeah, so the first two are your light switches. So your standard lights, then your light bar. The third one's your e-brake. So you push forward to go forward, push back to park. And the next three are your drive selector switches.
Drive selector as far as what drive mode you're in?
Yeah, like DNR. You don't need them. It's just that if that screen did fail, then
Mechanical fail-safe kind of in a way.
Exactly.
So you're going touch screen for your gear selector, but if you had to, you got them here. Got it. And then this
Cruise control.
You got cruise control.
Yeah.
But now none of the autonomous drive.
No, that's another level.
I would think so, and I got to imagine it pushes the liability through the roof because if that fails,
Yeah, like,
I mean,
as an example, so like we were going to use the Tesla power steering rack, and there was a company that was building a controller, and there was so many revisions that they just kind of like pieced out. Like, this is too tough. Like, it's just janky.
yeah. This is bitching in here, man. Let's get some cameras in and go for a drive.
Sure.
Okay.
Wow, it's interesting, dude, because I have that H1 stored at my place, so I know what it's like to sit in these I certainly know how they drive down the road. Part of me doesn't want to admit this, but it already feels like it drives a little better than a standard. Oh yeah, there's the regen.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that's tripped me out, honestly, is that the steering's heavy, but so what? You adjust to that, right?
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
I think we're gonna put a bigger motor in the next trucks.
I could see that. That would make sense. It's bonkers to me how quiet it is. And it's not like my first EV experience, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But it's, I guess, having driven a Cummins diesel-powered H1, it's you definitely hear that thing, you know? So a couple things that you said off camera that I thought would be interesting to bring into play here is, I was asking you in the initial starting of the company, and you talked about where you live in Porsche.
Yeah, so like I was building a 911 and it smoked a bit, and the challenge was like, hey, do we rebuild this engine? And locally, no one did it. So the only thing to do would be to send it to California, wait a year, 2 years. You know, we're talking 30 grand to rebuild that motor. So it was just around, I'd say 2019, when the controllers were coming out for the Tesla motors. I was like, well, it's worth experimenting. You know, let's just see what this thing does.
So because you couldn't get a Porsche engine rebuilt in an easy manner, you went, well, let's do an EV Hummer.
It went from that to that.
They couldn't be more polar opposite too, you know what I'm saying? Like great things are born out of necessity, right? It generates creative thinking, I think.
Great ideas always start in strange places.
So the other one I wanted to bring up was, we started talking speed, horsepower, and you were saying, well, yeah, I mean, if we wanted to, I suppose we could even make that thing go up to 200 miles per hour. And my thought was, initially, because I live in the horsepower world, it meant, oh, so you'll put a 1,000 horsepower motor in this. Explain that a little bit, please, because it's not about changing the motor. You said this vehicle here would have high-speed capabilities.
Like this motor can go to 18,000 RPMs. We're running 37-inch tires. So, I mean, it technically could go faster than a Tesla, right?
Because it doesn't take as many rotations of the tire, but you're able to create the same level of RPM.
Exactly. I think, you know, the physical limit would be the tires themselves and the rating of the tires. Aero
you would be limited by, obviously this is pushing a gigantic grid through the air. But I mean, that's what I wanted to, I just wanted to bring it up while it's on camera so anyone watching can understand that it's a different look at horsepower.
Yeah.
It's not the same in making horsepower that I grew up on.
Yeah, it's more like it's a study in torque. You know, like right now you have the maximum potential torque.
Yeah.
And we're not even moving.
Right.
So in a Hellcat, you're going to have to be at
4,000 RPM or whatever it is before you're making. Yeah. How long did it take you to complete vehicle number one?
So this was about a year, but you know, now that the bracket designs are complete, we started one in September, and like it's going to be done for Christmas. So 3-4 months.
What number is this for you?
So this would be, I guess, technically number one of version 2.0.
Okay.
So version 1.0 was a different animal. Like we kept all the Hummer suspension.
And you found it to be better to move over to the Tesla stuff.
It was really hard to get everything right, the geometry especially. But like once it's done, once your bracket's done, it's done. You can bolt together 1,000.
Wow. It's crazy how good this thing drives, man. The suspension's flat out more refined than what's stock on an H1.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1978 versus 2012.
Yeah, there should be some evolution along the way, right? I overheard you talking to Kyle or Chris. One of them asked you cost on this.
Yeah, so between 100 and 200.
And does that include the donor vehicle?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Because these are pretty inexpensive to get, huh? And readily available.
Readily available. Like we just stopped by Yermo, and there must be 10,000.
I know.
Right.
We just drove past. Yeah. You guys must have had a field day driving past there.
I spent like half an hour just sitting there drinking beers and watching that place.
Going back to the RPM conversation, you said it can go to 18,000 RPM. Is this limited at all?
No,
It's not. So if I put my foot in it for a long enough time,
it'll go.
we're going to keep revving up.
Keep going.
So is that where the bigger motor makes it spin up faster or something? I guess I don't understand this technology.
I mean, the bigger motor just has more power. Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because people used to call and say, hey, like, I don't need 600 horsepower. You know, just give me 200. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really exist. Tesla only has like less than 6 motors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this one of their lower powered ones?
These motors are actually capable of close to 1,000, but the short range pack seems to be happy at around 250 kilowatts. So if we had the big pack in this thing and we overclock it, we can get there.
So you rate your power on kilowatts, not on horsepower, and then you create what the equivalent is.
Yeah, so you take kilowatts,
So a guy like me can understand it, right?
times it by 1.3.
And that gives you your horsepower.
That gives you horsepower.
Well, I guess you said you were already tech based in your thinking.
Yeah.
So not a difficult conversion for you to make going from building a Porsche to building an EV.
I mean, so I used to build guitar amplifiers. So building like those old Fender 5C1s, like that is not a huge jump to an electric car. If you can build a guitar amplifier, you can build an EV.
The construction, the suspension, that's different. That's still relating to an older form of building. But
Yeah, I mean, like the guys that amaze me are the guys that do custom suspensions.
yeah.
For us, it wasn't necessary. Like, why reinvent it? Tesla did it.
All right, you guys, we're going to see what acceleration is like on a 4,100 pound electric Hummer. Wow, dude. Wow.
She goes.
Okay. I gotta admit, I thought it would be a little more of a bitch than that. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised by it, but I'm old, dude, so I have horsepower in my head, and when you give an equivalent number of 350 horsepower, well, like you were saying, your Jeep makes 400 horsepower,
And it's
it
gutless.
feels like a gutless pile of crap. That's impressive, man. I think we might have to do a couple more of those. Impressive. Jeff, totally. I mean, I got to tell you, bro, I get to experience a lot of vehicles,
Okay.
of all sorts between my storage facility and the channel. And I already said it to you. Part of me doesn't want to like it because it's not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But it's good job on you and your team.
Yeah,
How many people you have on your crew?
It's just a small crew, like 5 people. We do outsource, a lot of stuff like the enclosures.
You mean the roof and
Yeah, it's aluminum roof. So when these trucks come out of the military, there's nothing. It's just window frame, B-pillar, and nothing.
that's it.
That's it. I'm not really sure like what the rules are, but when they decommission, all the heavy armor comes off. We actually were fortunate enough to find a local shop to help us out and do all these from scratch.
All right, I gotta feel the acceleration again. Here we go, foot to the floor, guys. Really, it puts you in your seat. Is it the fastest thing I've ever been in? No. Is it faster than a lot of things I've been in? Yes, it is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's so funny because it pulls really good. It gets up and moves. There's no other way to say it, but it's a little bit of a mind, you guys know what I mean. It's messing with my mind in the sense that it's pinning me in my seat. I feel it pulling, and there's Zero sound except for tire noise and air noise. By the way, I can't get over, I know I've said it probably a couple times already, but I'm going through these sweeper turns at a fairly decent pace. It's shocking how much better this handles than, you know, the old H4.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, you know, the QA1 racing shocks
Yep.
are so nice.
Yeah.
Fully adjustable.
So I know a lot of you guys, me included, struggling with the idea of EV in this world, but the reality is, think about it this way, I'm really thinking differently, is that this is the modern world of hot rodding. Hot rodding was started with creative thinking about making something go faster. Changed into a lot of things since then, but ultimately in the beginning it was, how can I take this and make it go faster? And I mean, to be driving this thing, picking up that kind of pace, it's hard to even understand it because there's no sound to it, right? So I'm not saying it's the perfect solution, I'm just saying I refuse to become a dinosaur. It's why we shot this episode today, is embracing all of the realms of hot rodding to enjoy what's possible with the technology that's come into play. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's a big shift, and I promise you, plenty more loud screaming exhaust to come soon. So thanks for hanging and watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, man, later.